Well, now here in Gaza, I'm standing all too close to that crescent of black flags that depict IS presence around the southern and eastern rim of the Mediterranean. Today I've heard the sound of Egyptian fighter bombers pounding IS positions miles away in the Sinai. Yesterday I heard them even louder on the Egyptian border itself. Tonight, the group that puts the military backbone into Hamas, Islamic Jihad, has been parading through the streets of Gaza City here in a show of strength. But in truth, all the ingredients are in place for IS to take advantage of an unhappy populace with dwindling respect for Hamas and despair over ever making peace with Israel. I'm on my way to Friday prayers at the Amari Mosque in the center of Gaza City. Picture perfect prayerful unity, but contrasted with last year, for the first time, it is possible to detect a fracturing of the spirit. Everyone in this congregation has lost someone, something, or some place that was precious to them. The mullah cries out, "Victory to our resistance groups, victory over Israel." But deep down, they know that they have suffered grievous, 3 times repeated defeat. Defeat that has left 60% of the youth unemployed, and overall unemployment at 43%, officially rated the worst in the world. Over the years, once secular Gaza has turned solidly to the Sunni faith to protect them from the heat of conflict with Israel and Western isolation and ostracization. But within the past 2 weeks, the Islamic State group has issued these video taunts and threats against the Palestinians, threats that speak of overthrowing Hamas for not being extreme enough and failing to introduce strict Sharia law. With Friday prayers over, worshippers leave through the narrow arch. Outside the mosque, Islamic Jihad, the toughest of the militant elements of Hamas, are marshalling for a demonstration. But nobody here supports IS.
يا شباب بالنسبة لكم في حد بدعم داعش؟
Anyone who doesn't support IS or Daesh in Arabic, raise your hand, he says.
Nobody with Daesh, okay? All of us against Daesh.
But last month's fusillade of rockets toward Ashkelon in Israel were claimed to have been fired by a group inspired by IS. The great fear is that these Islamic Jihad flags may one day darken into those of IS, as they have so far elsewhere in the region, extremists capturing these unhappy hearts and minds without work, many of whom have no home. So far, Hamas's iron grip, hardened by these Islamic Jihad supporters, have kept IS at bay, but the threat is getting ever closer. Yet in amongst the deprivation and anger, there are extraordinary glimmers of hope. This is where the 13-story Basha Tower stood. Why Israel chose to reduce to dust a building that hosted brilliant IT startups, no one knows. Of the 40 companies once thriving above this hole in the ground, only 4, including one run by Khalil Salil, survives. He showed us the bomb site and then took us to a lock-up garage where he's re-established his business.
All my friends were in the Basha Tower, which was destroyed in more than 40 companies. Just me and the 3 companies working now.
Gosh, out of 40, just 4
yes.
companies.
One of the managers of the company took his crew stuff and tried to go to Italy by the sea,
yeah.
And he is dead with his stuff. This is in the 3 months before
he died trying to get to Italy.
Yes, he died in the sea.
There is no segment of life in Gaza that is not affected by the unilateral siege to which it is subject. Even fishing. The Israeli Navy arrests and imprisons any fisherman caught anywhere near the arbitrary 6-mile fishing limit. Inshore fish stocks are low. On the foreshore, close to Gaza City's fishing port, boys tug at nets. But when we reach them, we find a lot of weed and just one small fish. As the boys prepare to go in search for a few more fish, it's a picture of innocence. Perhaps unwittingly, Israel and her Western allies, in allowing the siege of Gaza to continue, are laying out the welcoming carpet to IS to fill the void. For now, these boys are not downcast with their meagre haul. And you, what do you want to do when you grow up?
صياد.
Yeah. All want to be fishermen, huh? Their hopes are like other boys of their age. So they set off to fish again, hoping for more than one this time round, oblivious to the dark forces gathering beyond the margins of their tiny state. Well, we shall be back later in the programme with more, but now back to Matt in London with the rest of the day's news.